Hey guys, True Grit Scott, Bulletproof Saws and BLUESAWS.com. I hope everybody's doing all right. Back out with the 366 Pro. Holy gnats. I don't know if you guys can see these, but I'm getting swarmed. Anyhow, if I don't swallow a gnat and choke to death, maybe we'll get a video done. I took a little bit of time and I went through and I did a bulletproof job on this 366 Pro. I made a couple of observations in it that maybe are interesting. Maybe they're not. I took off the Walbro carb. I think we left off this saw. I had blocked the jet on the Farmertec Walbro so I could adjust the high, and I thought we had it running pretty decent. I know that the modified carbs run better, and I know you guys are waiting on modified carbs. I have 15 mufflers batched up. They're halfway, maybe more than halfway in process, so mufflers will be done. But I put on the modified carb, and it was kind of odd because it was a rando that I had on my bench. And I had one, I'm not 100% sure that was a good one. That might have been one of my mistakes. It was labeled, but it wasn't labeled clearly. Like, I can't remember what the label I put on it was supposed to mean, but it seems like it's running okay. I haven't ran it much, but it seems okay. So it's got the modified carb. I did about all the mods. I didn't do a timing advance because generally 366s are twitchy, but I don't know if they're going to be twitchy with this cylinder. Maybe something's different. I don't know. But I didn't do that yet. But the muffler, that stainless muffler was a royal pain in the neck to gut and put the deflector on. And what happens is that the stainless, I use flap discs to cut them just because it cuts quicker than a grinding wheel on an angle grinder. I lock them in a leg vise outside and zip around them and go from there. There's a bunch of things. Now there's three styles of mufflers, right? There's two, I'll call them regular steel ones, and the one stainless. One of the regular steel one is the exact copy of the stainless one, or vice versa. And I don't like the way they do the internal spark cage on them. It's more of a pain in some ways to do than the other one. The other one I have to drill spot welds out. So it's one of those things. They're actually a less restrictive muffler stock, but they're still more restrictive than we want. And I still don't think just popping a hole in the side on the old style muffler, the one that I actually prefer, popping a hole in the side does nothing. On this style, popping the holes in the side's definitely going to help, probably more than the other one, just because of the way that internal baffle is. But even on this one, it's still not the way you really want it. You know, if you have nothing better you can do, maybe that's the way you go. What else? I don't know. I think this is running okay. I tuned it a little bit. And what I wanted to do is these logs that I'm real sick of, these shipbird logs, shouldn't say that, tired of these logs and cutting on them, and I need a new location because I'm tired of this location. Not that I've been making a ton of videos lately, but still, at least I could go back to the other video and compare the times of this in its best stock form versus these upgrades and see if there's a difference. I certainly hope so. I wasn't going to bring the 24-inch bar over. I brought it over, and somehow I had it sitting under cover, but outside, and the chain's a little rusty, so we'll see how that goes. Like, how the chain rusted when there was bar oil on it and was undercover is beyond me, but apparently I did that somehow. But I don't know that it affected the cutters as much as the side plates, and the side plates, I don't care. The rust is gonna come off as soon as we get in that log. And I know I wasn't real impressed with it in stock form with the 24, and we'll see if it does a little bit better today, but we're gonna have to, I'm not gonna edit the videos to put them together. I wish I could, but I'm not gonna, and I know I'm not gonna. So you'll have to watch the other videos to see, and you could time that log, this log, and this log versus, you know, the 20-inch bar and the 24-inch bar, and that's all I planned on doing. The other thing in doing this, when I got into doing the squish, the squish band was uneven and I didn't cut the band. So when I bulletproof these saws, what I'm trying to do is make a saw with every mod and tweak that I know of going into the saw that's applicable to the saw without the machine work, because the machine works is where you get into costing more money. And if I could get a 20% bump with just the bulletproof as opposed to a 30% bump with the machine work, to me, I prefer the non-machine work. I'll lose that 10%, I don't care, just because the labor cost is so much less. So you have a saw that's available to more people who don't want to spend an extra, you know, $300-400 on a port job. That's the idea with this. I know you could get more power. We all know you could get more power out of it if you did a full port job. I'm not doing that, guys. So there you go. If you need it, call me. We could get it done. But that's not what I'm looking to do with these. That's a whole nother conversation. So anyhow, as doing the squish, I distract myself. In doing the squish, the band is uneven and it's tighter on one side than I really want it, and it's correct on the other, and you could have inconsistencies in a squish band. I don't care if it's an OEM saw, not an OEM saw. You know, you measure one side, you measure the other, there might be a little bit of difference. This was just a little more difference than I expected to see, wanted to see. The flip side of that is, in really looking at that cylinder, they're actually a beautiful, beautiful cylinder, comparable to any highway cylinder. It was a gorgeous, it's an open port still, which I'm lukewarm about, but it absolutely was gorgeous. I mean, the fit, finish, the whole nine was gorgeous. Just that squish band was, you know, if you're running a base gasket and you're not trying to get tight squish, maybe it doesn't matter so much to you. I know the bleeding edge, you know, pedantic guys are gonna be, oh, it's on it. Okay, guys, whatever. So anyhow, I'm gonna pause you guys. I'll get this started, warmed up a little bit. I'll make a couple cuts in this, a couple cuts in that, pause you again, put the 24 on, go to that, and then we can see what it looks like compared to the old videos with stock form, best, you know, the best I could get it with blocking off that jet on the carb. Alrighty, guys, she's warmed up good enough. I don't want to be delusional, but I think that feels infinitely better now. So we'll see. Sorry about the log rolling and moving, and you saw me fighting it a little bit, and I know it's not great, but it feels better. Hopefully this little tiny piece of junk's not gonna go all over on me, and maybe I'll get a couple good cuts with the 24. I might move the camera so you can see as I get down into it. I have it on a couple pieces of wood there. My railroad tie is kind of in the way, so you can't see the bottom of that piece of wood. Anyhow, guys, let me set that up. I'll pause you and we'll see. But it feels better, and from what I recall from the video, and that was 100 saws ago, but I kind of remember because I pay attention to these because I like them, was that with the 24-inch bar, I thought it was kind of dog poo. So let's see. Alrighty, guys, I think you could just about see over that log there. And I'll show you. This was outside but undercover, this bar and chain. I don't remember if I used it. I'll show you guys. I'm not really sure how this happened. Let's see if we could do this. Focus. I don't know if you could see how rusty, like, I mean, almost like the dog took a leak on it or something, but it was someplace where the dog couldn't do that. So maybe it was the chipmunks or the whatever else. Jesus. Let's see if I can make a cut or two. This probably won't be elegant, but maybe it'll get us by. That's a different saw. That's a different saw, and I'm gonna obviously test it against some of the old style cylinders on a bulletproof build, and maybe I'm just excited because now this is working the way I want it to. Here, let me pause you. Maybe this is an awkward angle to see me. I don't know. Hold on. Okay, maybe that's better. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Oh, God, chaps are falling. And maybe I'm being optimistic because I got a saw I wasn't totally impressed with to run more impressive, but I think that's gonna give the old cylinder a run for its money and maybe beat it. Another thing I noticed, and I meant to tell you, and I don't know if I even finished the muffler story, how much of a pain in the neck it was to cut that apart and braze it back together. It was a nightmare. I don't know if it was the stainless. It was 10 o'clock at night. Maybe I was just tired and goofy. I'm not sure, but it fought me the whole time. The rings, and I wanted to get it back together, so I didn't go fish out a set of cabers from the old cylinder, but not the thickness, but the width of the rings. They look narrow to me. They look different, and I could be wrong. I could just be thinking of a different saw, remembering wrong, but I thought the width of the rings was different. So I'm curious about that. I got a verify the piston size on this because I can't recall offhand, and if the cabers that fit on this, which I think it'd be worth maybe putting on if they're not overly wide for the new piston, because that is a different piston than I've seen from Farmertec on a 366. But I think that saw may wind up beating the old ones. I'm not, again, maybe I'm just excited because it's running kind of the way I want it to. It pulled me into the wood a lot more unexpected than I thought, even with the rusty chain, which didn't mean it was dull. It wasn't horrible. I don't know, guys. That's a video. What else did I want to tell you about these things? Frustrating point when you got your AV spring in your handle and it attaches to the top of the cylinder. This has to be the second or third one that I've broken just screwing the screw in. One of the tips I'll give you is put a little screwdriver into it and turn it so it's not sitting cockeyed on the top of it, because I don't know if that's what I'm doing. It's not quite right, and I just put the screw in and try to bend it with the screw and put it down. I don't think that's what it was. I think that they're just not cast. I believe they're sintered metal, and I don't think that sintered metal is great, and I have guys ordering them for me, so I know they're breaking for other people. When they're on there, they're fine. I don't have them breaking on there. I have them break putting them on, and I wasn't wrenching it like a gorilla. What else did I want to tell you guys about this? Oh, I forgot to put the bottom plate back on it. That was it. Everything else, the cylinder was beautiful, the piston was beautiful, the rings looked narrow, the muffler was a royal pain to braze on. I was using silver solder. That I got one good braze run on the bottom, of course, where I can't show it to you guys. And that went well, but every other one went like crap, and I actually swapped over to brass, and I'm noticing today the brass, I see the flux migrating out of it, which is the problem I had on the non-stainless mufflers. So I'll figure that one out too, and I don't think I want to take the time to TIG weld them or have them TIG welded. It adds so much time. I don't want to add any more cost to it, and maybe I'll just wind up doing the steel ones as opposed to the stainless. I don't know yet. I got to figure it out. I don't know. I kind of really like that, and I'll be excited to take this into the woods. I have to pick up a bunch of logs really over the next couple weeks. I have a ton of logs to get, so I will have some more interesting stuff to cut. Not that there's not, but what happens is I got logs I want to mill. I'm not cutting them for firewood or for videos or whatever, so I got to find some logs that I wouldn't mind doing that with. I actually have a cherry over there that I was going to make something out of that maybe I could use. I know, sacrilegious to use cherry for this dumb stuff, but maybe I will. I think that's it, guys. I'm kind of super excited about this. I thought that went really well. I'll watch the video. Maybe I'm delusional, but the numbers will tell us the truth. We'll watch the first video, we'll watch this video, and we'll see where we got to. Anyhow, guys, True Grit Scott, Bulletproof Saws at BLUESAWS.com. Thanks for watching. Please recommend us, share the videos, tell your friends. We could use you guys helping out the channel, the shop, the whole nine, and whatever. Be safe, fellas. Talk too much. That's the problem.